so you have to.
Excuse me, Rebecca. Take it easy.
Joanne, I've got 2 weeks on you, and you know it. All right. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen, although you'll all have to tolerate me looking like the dinosaur I am. And we're going to do slideshow. No. You know how Zoom has all of the things you need at the very top. So here we go. All right. So can I see a thumbs up if you guys can see my screen? Thank you, everyone. All right. So my office is, well, we are financial aid. I'm Rebecca Melville, the managing director for that office. And we also have a big footprint in both sort of the registrar's office, but really the various admissions offices as well, helping our colleagues there to understand what all of those moving pieces are. So when Jared sees that somebody is 80% eligible, I can sort of help him understand what that means in terms of making this or what level of financial support you're going to have. So what we can tell you is how the VA benefits work for you and how Yale is going to put that on your student account. My colleague in the registrar's office is the certifying official for VA benefits, but we help her with the financial pieces. So we can tell you what to expect. As you know very well, I'm sure all of you, the VA sendeth over what the VA decided to send over. So sometimes that doesn't exactly match, but we do our best. Unfortunately, right now at this time of the year, we do not have either updated tuition and fees for our programs, nor do we have next year's updated tuition and fees and BAH rates, et cetera, from the VA. And so that, you know, the information we can provide is going to, and talk about tonight, is going to have all 2021, 22 numbers with it. As soon as we have that, we send it out to our veterans. So just want to talk a little bit about the things we do for our military candidates, because as you know, veterans is the bulk of the people who attend the MBA program, but we also have active duty folks, both and particularly in our executive MBA program, we have quite a few active duty. And we also have people who are active duty, but fully sponsored by their branch of the military. We have every branch of the military except for the Space Force, I think, but I'm going to include them with the Air Force because I think they still go through the Air Force. So we do have every branch of the military probably represented amongst our veterans and military colleagues here and students. We are a military friendly school. I'm sure Jared told you about the fee waiver to apply to the different programs here at Yale, not just the MBA program. If you are a candidate who, you know, is a very unique snowflake and you are really going to go back and teach certain subjects at the West Point, we have a memorandum of understanding with West Point. And we also have members of every different type of chapter benefits, of veterans benefits. I believe, and I said branch specific active duty, I think I'm lying on number one. I do not think, and my apologies, I think the army of my children are coming upstairs screaming, so sorry for the background noise. I do not think we have any Montgomery GI Bill candidates in the program right now, so should have updated that. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on this slide because this is sort of basic understanding of the post 9/11 GI Bill. So chapter 33 is what most of our veterans will attend on and use. And this is how the VA, again, I'm not the VA. I like to tell our veterans, I became an American in 2019. So I actually know quite a bit about how to run VA benefits, but it's always, this is information that's publicly available to you. And there's actually some really robust information on the VA website. But this is how they basically determine eligibility by active duty and, you know, number of months of active duty And it is important to remember that you don't have to spend your benefits here, right? You can pass them on. I don't think I'm telling you anything new that you don't know. We don't have anything to do with the determination of benefits. That all goes through one office in Buffalo, New York. This year, they've been terrific. So they've been sort of turning things around within 30 days. We've had years that have been very different, but let's, fingers crossed, hope that continues when you file and apply for your certificate of eligibility after you get your, or at any point, but certainly confirm those benefits upon separation, and your DD 214, I think is what it's called. All right. We are also really proud that we have a full yellow ribbon dollar for dollar match for all programs at the Yale School of Management. So effective for you guys and gals and the folks who start in 2022, if you are still active duty, you are also eligible for yellow ribbon. So that's completely new this year. And what this means is that between the post 9/11 GI Bill, if you're at 100%, then yellow ribbon clicks in. And then that tops up to essentially a full ride, tuition and fees at least, right? So you have your GA or GI 100%, and we're going to go through these numbers in detail and you're going to stay awake. GI Bill at 100%. And then you're going to, let's say the difference of that, $25,000 is covered, but it's $75,000. So then Yale kicks in $25,000 in yellow ribbon funding, and the VA will match that up to that $75,000 of tuition and fees. We don't put any cap on how many students in how many programs in all of our programs. So if you are eligible at 100%, you receive the funding from both Yale and the VA. Okay, I'm really proud of the fact that I'm not sure we're still the only, because I have not checked in the last 6 months, but we were certainly the first private school, private MBA program to offer essentially a full ride for 100% eligible veterans. And again, effective August 2022, that will also be for active duty military. All right, so what does that look like? And I really want to spend some time walking you through the actual numbers. So this year, and again, these are the numbers for 21-22, and these are the numbers for the full-time MBA program. I will address our executive MBA candidates as well in a few minutes. But tuition and fees this year is essentially the what the VA it would pay at a state school, right, for the same degree. That almost doesn't matter, because that's what the number is this year, $26,043. You know, it's always like N82 cents or something like that, right? So those funds, once you get your certificate of eligibility, and then you give that to us, don't worry, we will ask you for it. And then our certifying official goes into the system and the VA system and says, okay, Chris is attending, he is 100% eligible, thank you very much. Then the VA will send that $26,000. If you are 80% eligible, the VA sends 80% of $26,000, okay? That comes directly to Yale University. You also get a book allowance. Again, these are the numbers for 100% eligible veterans. So if you're 100% eligible, you get $1,000. Yale does not see that. You see that. And so that goes directly to you. And I am not clear that active duty, in previous years, active duty have not received this book allowance. I actually was just told today that may be different. So I don't want to say it's not for active duty. I probably should have removed this from the slide. I'm a little unclear on that. So I'll do my best to find that out soon. All right, BAH, right, the board and housing. This is going to be based on, and look at me with my VA terms, the E5 pay rate with dependents for the school zip code. And so this year, that actually the first time I've ever seen it drop since 2013, when I've been really doing this carefully. So well, it's not like I was doing it not carefully before, but since I was ever doing it, when I started, we had 2 veterans in our program. Now we have almost 50 every year. And so anyway, our BAH is based on the zip code of Evans Hall. And so it is 2,757. It's down a couple of $100 a month. So that's not great, but it is what it is. And that will be again adjusted. All of these numbers are adjusted in June or so every year. Now, for the people, so if you are 80% eligible or 60% eligible, you stop before you get to yellow ribbon. You're going to get 80% of all of these numbers here. If you're 100%, continue on with me and we'll talk yellow ribbon. The VA is going to match whatever we ask them to match. We'll split the difference between the tuition support you get from the post 9/11 GI Bill and the amount remaining for tuition and fees. Again, yellow ribbon, both our match and the VA match, as well as the tuition, come directly to Yale University. The rest goes to you. Okay. All right. So this is one of those great resources on the VA website. I love it, but I know how to use it. So if you do the comparison tool, great. But remember that the defaults in there are for Yale College. So they're going to say things like your tuition is $50,000. So you have to adjust it to the tuition and fees for Yale SOM or whatever program you are attending. And so you kind of have to understand how to use that. Also haven't even updated it for this year's tuition benefits. You can see that $25,163 up here in the corner. That is the 2020-2021 rate, but let's just call this good enough. And you can see how all of these funds flow in and out, but it is also a really good picture for you and an outside resource rather than Rebecca Melville representing a school. Just be careful. And this is the same for, any program you're applying to. It's likely going to, if you're looking at Tuck, you're going to have to be sure you put in the tuition and fees for Tuck because the default will be Dartmouth College. All right, so this is something that you will receive from our office as soon as you are admitted. Actually, exactly 6 days after you're admitted through the magic of CRM tools. So you will receive a spreadsheet and it allows you to put in what you think your eligibility. Some of you know it, some of you don't know it yet, but you can go in and choose your eligibility, and then boom, the numbers populate based on that eligibility and whether you have additional scholarships from us or from some other resource. And this is what the bottom will tell you, what you're going to owe in fall of your first year, and then in spring of your first year, and how the funds will pay in and out of Yale. So this first section is all the funding that comes into Yale University. You can see that the tuition and fee, or the tuition benefit for the post 9/11 bill, it pays out in fall semester only. So what that means is we want to make you whole for the year, so you get more yellow ribbon and the match kicks in more heavily in the spring semester. And then that continues again the next year. In reality, every year tuition and fees are adjusted and every year VA benefit rates are adjusted. So this isn't going to be perfect for your second year, but it gives you a sense. And then down below, the living allowance and book stipend, again, those come directly to you. So I wanted to call them out separately. All right, so this is for our MBA program candidates. Let's have a quick look at the executive MBA support. Now, fun fact, the VA office in Connecticut has got a new student services person. And so we're about, by we, I mean myself and our certifying official, we're going to have a phone call with this new person, and apparently she's wonderful and terrific. And her definition of rate of pursuit, which will become very important in about 10 seconds, is very different from the rate of pursuit that we were told from the Hartford office beforehand. So this is, as it is to my understanding right now, it may become more generous. I do not want to promise that, okay? Because the executive MBA program, as for those of you who are considering it, you know, it's a 23-month program. It is full-time, but the VA considers something called rate of pursuit. It's full-time, but it's over 23 months rather than 18 months. And they're calculating, like, quite frankly, it's been explained to me as your butt in a chair, right? And that is how they calculate this rate of pursuit. So underneath all of these living allowance calculations, that's where the rate of pursuit comes in. And so it differs a little bit. The great news for executive MBA candidates is that the VA academic calendar and the Yale academic calendar are slightly off. Sorry, VA fiscal year and our academic calendar are a little different. So our executive MBA candidates get 3 tuition payments for if they're have any post 9/11 bill post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility. And so you can see that that's why you get 2 payments, because your program starts in July or June, and then the VA year ends in August. So we can request another tuition payment for you for spring semester, which starts in February. And so that's why your yellow ribbon match is a little less in your first year than it will be in your second year. In your second year, you're not going to get anything in fall, but you will get a tuition payment in spring. So your yellow ribbon and fall term is going to be much larger. Okay, that's the really dry part, but I promise you it's very important when and it feels very important when you look at your tuition bill. So let's get to the next steps. I do, again, strongly recommend you do use the GI Bill comparison, but have those websites at the schools open so that you actually have the correct tuition fees. And you know, some schools, frankly, most of our peer schools don't do unlimited yellow ribbon matches, as far as I understand it. If you're looking at a state school, that's a little different game there, right? You may or may not know. So it's going to be a little different for every school, and have the information there. Make sure you apply via Vaughn app for your certificate of eligibility. That needs to be done. And I'm not the person to advise you on timing for that, but I did tell you a little bit about what I know of the Buffalo office. This is what a typical certificate of eligibility looks like. This person is still on active duty when she sent me the certificate of eligibility. But once you accept your offer, you enroll in our program. Around May or April, we're going to send you to a form and say, please upload your certificate of eligibility, because we want to make sure we get all of the moving pictures and financial pieces in. Our certifying official receives that, and then I use that to make sure that all your benefits get put onto your student bill, so that when you get that student bill, it'll be for $0. And you will see all of the different, and in fact, it should be for negative, your deposit, because you'll see all of the moving pieces coming in between the VA and the yellow. That's a ribbon, assuming you're 100% eligible. Okay, again, here is the full, you can see the piece that I've called out separately at the very bottom, the estimated benefits per semester, but this is exactly what you'll receive 6 days after you've been admitted. And so, and our certifying official, the registrar, will certify your enrollment according to the Isaacson-Rowe regulations. So it's a little more than every semester at this point. Okay. I know that was exhilarating, maybe even riveting. So I'd like to answer any questions you might have at this point. Let me check out the chat and see if there's any in there. Jared, were you geeking out again with your dinosaurs?
My kids weren't storming upstairs. I have them piped down on screens.
Yeah, this is what happens when their dad plays. I put them in the basement to play hoverboard tag. Dad, it gets ugly.